1. Oh, we made it. Yes, yes, we made it. All right. It is Wednesday, September 13th, 2023. How's everyone feeling?
Yeah.
Feeling good? Feeling good. You guys like this market that we're in?
Love it.
You like the market?
Love the market.
High interest rates?
Love the market.
Closing market?
Hey, don't sell interest rates.
I
Don't
love
sell
it.
interest.
Yes, yes. The reality that we're dealing with right now, right?
Right.
Yes, but we do know that people are out there buying, selling houses right now, don't we?
Yeah.
Because we go on the multiple listing service, what do we see? We see properties that are active in the market. We see properties that are under contract. We see properties that are pending. We see properties that are closed. So there are people out there still buying and selling. Your job is to get in front of those people that are buying and selling. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. All right. So we'll start with the message from our KW President, Mark King.
Hello, Keller Williams, President Keller International here to talk to you about September. Can you believe it? 3/4 of the year already in the book. So today we're going to talk about how supercharged Q4 and all of 2024. Several things in this launch briefing I want to make you aware of. Number one, the new agent website, fundamental key part of your business plan. To be maximizing online traffic. Go check out our new agent site. Number two, the buzzword that everybody's talking about that is really confusing to our consumers is what kind of impact does artificial intelligence or AI have on the real estate industry? Well, we've written a playbook for you. Please check that out. All things artificial intelligence. Spoiler alert, it helps our jobs and it helps us become faster and better at what we do, but it doesn't replace you with fiduciary incentive transactions. So check out our AI playbooks. And last but not least, we released the MREA Playbook Series. It is a book of over 100 business models, all on one page each, of agents performing at the highest level in the industry right now in these market conditions. And they're great models for you to follow for 2024. So if you're looking to supercharge Q4, get into bold. Hire a maps coach if you don't have one. So check out our playbooks and have an amazing fourth quarter, which will lead directly into your amazing 2024. Have an awesome September, everybody. We'll see you soon.
All right. So what are you talking about in terms of the playbooks? So some of you guys might, if you guys follow our page on Instagram, I did post a video about the strategies that we do have. So we have not sat down and went over these strategies. Definitely let's set up a time because again, we have over 100 different strategies that the top agents are doing right now to thrive in this market. So let's definitely set up a time to go over those. All right, our mission statement, to build careers worth having, business worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. To be the real estate company of choice for agents and their customers. God, family, then business. All right, our belief system, a win-win or no deal, integrity, do the right thing. Customers always come first, commitment in all things. Communication, seek first to understand. Creativity, ideas before results. Teamwork, together everyone achieves more. Trust starts with honesty, equity, opportunities for all. Success results through people. So out of these belief systems right now, I want to hear from 3 of you guys. Which one of these is currently applying to your business or your life right now? All right, David.
Communication.
Communication. All right, see first, understand. So let's elaborate on that. Why is communication playing an impact right now?
I have a buyer that's bilingual, so she understands Spanish more. So just communicating to her with the lender and getting people on the phone that help her see what's going to happen in the transaction.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So being able to understand the process of it,
Yeah.
right? And that's great, like you said, obviously the fact that you being bilingual is awesome, but also having people on your team that also are bilingual
Yeah.
as well is important. All right, 2 more. All right. Trust, okay. Trust starts with honesty. Okay, so let's elaborate on that. Trust.
If they trust you, they just follow you, whatever you say, they will do whatever you say, what advice you take.
Absolutely, for sure. I love that. Love that. All right, one more.
Communication.
Communication, okay. All right,
You have to seek first to understand. That's true.
absolutely. That's all. Gary, your hands up. We're gonna do a bonus one, so I'll do another one. Gary,
Do the bonus one?
yes.
I'm using the win-win a
Okay.
lot more recently in getting between, I'm double ending a deal in Compton. And it kind of works to settle them in and tie them together
Mhm.
when they look to me going, my purpose, my objective is to create a win-win. okay, that means I win, you win, and everybody wins, yeah. So I've been using that a lot.
Yeah, and I definitely would say that's probably something that we'll see a lot more, as the year continues to progress, right? So definitely having those win-win situations, awesome. Does anyone else want to share one before I move forward? All right, Sandy.
I like the integrity, do the right thing, that's, I think we need to have as our compass.
Absolutely. Yes, I definitely agree with that. I think the last couple of years during the COVID time, I think unfortunately there were agents that came into our industry and they didn't live up to the integrity, but we were just so busy, we just want to get deals done. And now as the market has shifted and it's starting to slow down, a lot of customers, your clients are looking for a person that has that integrity, that person that's going to do the right thing. So that's definitely important. All right, perspective, a technology company that provides a real estate platform that our agents, buyers, and sellers prefer. Keller Williams thinks like a top producer, acts like a trainer consultant, and focuses all its activity on service, productivity, and profitability. All right. Parts of our meeting, our favorite game show title.
Better.
Better, I love it. I am your host, Kieran McGlory, along with my lovely co-host, Mo. Mo, tell us our two contestants on our favorite game show title. All right, good team out.
Oh, we got a late edition. Can we get
Oh, here. You got another person?
Yeah, Mike.
Oh.
All right, are we letting you first?
Yes.
We are?
Because he
We are?
just got right on that cutoff.
Okay, all right, well, Rolanda just came in as well. Too.
They are.
It's simple
Clear.
task, I guess. Okay.
Okay.
All right, we're being nice. I'm not that nice, but since they want to give you guys still an opportunity, that's cool. Good.
First one, Mike. First one, Mike. First thing to do.
All right.
0382586.
All right.
A little bit, make it happy.
All right, perfect. Who's our second contestant?
0382585.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, John. I know it's been like one time since you missed, right? Welcome back. Welcome back. All right, so let's see where our property today is. So this beautiful home. Oh, music off a little early. A little early than expected. There, that's perfect. So this beautiful wall, this is 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, 1935 square feet, lot size 3,550, 2-car attached garage, built in 1995, located in what city? Absolutely, absolutely. So this home recently closed as last couple of weeks. So the home closed escrow in the last couple of weeks, right? So it's in the current market condition that we're experiencing. So I want to throw that out there. So just in case you're talking about water. I don't know what's up with that, Mo. You're throwing something like
What?
that.
No, it's the top of the end of the song is them crushing.
I never heard that. That's how the phone then. That's awesome. That's awesome. Sad they crashed, but okay, so we got to hear it. Okay, perfect. So
How many days on the market?
oh, good question. The agent put 6 days on the market, but technically it was on the market for 17 days. But you know, you agents out there, when you guys get offer accepted, instead of moving it to active under contract, you move it to pending. So then it reduces the amount of days on the market. Yes. Yes, trick, right? Yeah, you can see that. Reducing days on the market, right? Because you look at it, wow, that house closed in 6 days. And then when you look at it, it actually closed in 17 days. So it's not too much. Those are all cash deal. Those all cash. It's a 1935 square feet.
What part of Chino Hills?
A nice part of Chino Hills. Oh, okay, fine. It's in Los Serranos, if that helps you. It's the most wrong. It does?
Yeah.
Okay, alright, perfect. So 4 bedroom, 2.5 home, 1935 square feet, closed very recently. At this time of the market, not in the summer. So I don't want you guys to think summer prices, I want you to think like now prices. 4 bedroom, 2.5 home. We're gonna go with John first.
Okay. 1,125,000.
Okay. Alright. Alright, Mr. David.
I was gonna say that.
John, David's number. 1.2?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, now I wanna hear 3 guesses from the audience.
1.250.
He said 1.25. Oh, then you
No,
put
1.2.
1.25. Okay, David?
1,125,000.
1,175,000.
Okay. Victor?
975.
Okay. Alright. So, the actual retail price of this gorgeous home sold for 1,013,000. Yes.
You're all. No.
Now, the list price of this home was $929. You know what I mean? So who knows? Maybe it was a little higher, maybe could have gotten 1.125, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so 1,013,000. Now, who's closest?
Without going.
So, Nature's not one of the contestants out there. Who would have been who was the closest?
John.
John, all right, so let's give a hand to John. All right, John.
Yeah.
So you win. You are going to be on a round robin list, meaning that the call that comes in based on the order, you will be getting that call. So the person calling, an agent that wants to buy, sell, lease, whatever, you will get that call.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so congratulations. Yeah. Now, no one leaves my game show without a prize. So, Mr. David, you get to pick which book would you like to go home with today? Would you like the shift or the one thing?
Yes.
All right, the one thing. So let's get up our test there. All right. Let's get up to all the September birthday. So all the people that are born in the month of September. So let's get up for that. Yeah. I think the table was doing that. Let's see. You can hear a little bit. See?
Stop.
Yeah, it means, yeah. So let's give up all people that have their work anniversaries in the month of September. Yeah. All right, September newcomers, we have Heide, we have Marlene, we have Andrea, we have Michael, and we have Bhupinder. So we give up our all right, bucket fills. So this is an opportunity to fill someone's bucket, a person that might have inspired you, maybe brought a smile to your face, maybe helped you with a difficult situation. So I want to hear from 3 of you guys to share some buckets. Who wants to start first? All right, John.
Hey, I'm gonna say, Mo's always very helpful, so I just appreciate everything, anytime I send her emails or call her or something, so. Thank you.
I like that. Let's see what I'm doing. All right, 2 more. All right, Maggie.
Helpful and like, was getting through all my forms and sign offers and everything, I didn't know what I was doing. She stopped everything to help us.
I like that. How many years have you been with us?
Month,
A month. You been in a month and you've already bring a handful of offers already.
yeah,
Once you're pretty much almost at escrow at one point until Monday, right?
yeah,
Exactly. Only a month. And where'd you pick up this buyer?
open house.
Open houses, right? So you didn't know this person, they're a complete stranger. They walked into your open house, you were able to build a connection with them. And how long have you been in the business again? A month. And you got these people to trust you. You only been in business for a month. But what do you do, Maggie? Like what do you do like on a weekly basis? In terms of your business and your growth, like what do you do? What are you attending?
Well, I go to the meetings and trainings.
You go to the meetings and trainings equals clients equals running offers equals opportunities, right? You're taking the opportunity to learn and grow. That's definitely something I advise each and every one of you guys to do. Because again, Maggie's only been in the business for a month. You know, she's already written offers, she's written counter offers. She had a buyer that was in escrow, they decided to pull out, but she's still working with them to find them their next home. So I wouldn't give up a props to give another hand for Maggie. All right, one more bucket fill. All right, Tina.
And so I want to say thank you to John. He's been so patient with my client, with my buyer. That has so much question about the interest rate. He just sat with us like for 1.5 hours, you know, explaining everything to them very clearly. And then my buyer seems very happy when they left the office. So I want to say thank you, John. Thank you to Tom, always call me. Always text me and ask me if I have open house that he wants to come and support me. Very helpful.
I love that. So, Tina, I tried to only fill one person's bucket. Stay in the rules here, okay? Yeah, John and Tom are amazing, they're definitely amazing partners,
Yes.
so definitely lean on them anytime you guys have any questions. You know, they're gonna help us, so, you know, definitely use John and Tom, they're amazing. So, perfect, thank you. Anyone else wants to share, fill a bucket before I move forward? Anyone else? All right, Tom.
I'd like to just piggyback on Maggie, because, you know, she's only been here a month, and I helped her a couple weeks back on an open house. But for somebody that's only been in this industry a month, I'm telling you how professional she was with the clients that walked in that door. So kudos to you, and you know, you're gonna be one of those top producers down the road for sure. So keep working hard.
All right, so this is the opportunity where you guys get to pitch your listings, right? So whether you have a home that's on the market now, or a home coming soon, or maybe a seller said, hey, if I can get this price, I'll be looking to sell my house. So I'm here for 3 of you guys, 3.
There were no listings at this time.
I'll see. It's like it's so funny. It's like you guys with money or something, or last person's security number or something. What's going on? You guys are realtors. You guys talk to the buyers and sellers all the time, right?
Oh, let's see, Kevin's not here.
I have buyers.
Okay, great. Yes, I know. Yeah, Mary has buyers.
I
That's
have
awesome.
two
I love it.
separate set of buyers. They're looking for at least 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms. One of them, he wants like super open concept and he wants turnkey everything. He doesn't really want to put work in it. So, yeah.
What's
They
the
like-
budget?
They like Chino Hills. Both of them are around 1.2, max 1.25. So,
Okay, nice. Would they be willing to go to 1.45?
I don't think so.
The reason I ask is whenever Ace that just joined us last month, he has a listing for 1.45 and she knows.
Oh, I saw that one.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, you saw it.
Mhm.
Awesome.
I was right by it.
Perfect, awesome. Yes. All right, anyone else wants to share the listing coming soon? Maybe someone that told you something. Right, this year, oh wait,
I have a listing, but it's out of area.
I want to hear it. I
Well,
want to hear it, Sunshine.
Bay Area,
Okay,
East Palo Alto, coming soon, 9:30. By the Amazon campus. It's very small, 780 square feet.
for $930,000.
Yeah, it's right across the street from the Amazon campus.
Yeah.
The last property across the street sold for 957. And there were actually 13 offers on the property in 6 days, so. We're just doing some painting and yard work, and we should be up and rolling next week or so.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I co-listed it.
Oh, okay,
With a friend.
okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Awesome, I
the
love it.
client wouldn't let me refer it because he was a referral.
He didn't want to be referred.
Yeah. So,
Yes, and Rashawn, how many years you been in business?
I think 9 months.
Yeah, so no years. You haven't been in this for years. Right. So where did this person come from?
A referral,
A referral.
yes,
You haven't been in business for a year and you're already getting referrals.
yes.
This is one thing I love about our business. There's no, hey, you gotta do this for 5 years and 10 years before you actually get referrals for people to actually refer you because they trust you. It's just a matter of you doing good work and showing people that you're doing good work and reminding people that you are in the business and you generate referrals.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Facebook on top of that.
Facebook, social media, perfect, awesome. And Ron, I saw your hand up.
Yeah, I have a listing in the preserves, unfortunately fell out of escrow, it's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. 1,879 square feet, completely turnkey. In escrow at 720, they're motivated, they need to buy another house and, they need to relocate, so we're gonna price adjust it to $699.
Okay.
With that being said, 7454 Brahmin Lane in Chino. And another listing, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms in Victorville. It was probably my second client ever 5 years ago. They got the house for $250,000.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And unfortunately, they're going through some issues and gonna be listing after $399 for it.
Alright, well, I'm sorry to hear they're going through issues, but at least they're able to maximize more.
Second client ever. Gotta keep in touch with them.
Absolutely, you said 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome, I love it, you know, keeping track with your clients and staying top of mind. You want folks to share this before we move forward? Going once, going twice, alright, moving on. Alright, so if you commit to coming to the office at least 2 times a week, if you said yes, then we'd like to offer you a desk for free for the first 90 days. Someone asked me, why do we have a free desk for 90 days? So someone asked me that.
Why do we have a free desk for 90 days, Kier?
Thank you, David. Great question.
Record him and he may.
Yes, oh yeah, and David, can you tell people why you have such that great powerful voice? What do you usually do?
That was my old job.
And tell people what that was.
I used to be a voice actor.
Yes, there you go, absolutely, yes. So the question, why am I making the desk for the first 90 days? Because we know the first 90 days is definitely going to set a motion in terms of your growth, right? The first 90 days is going to be the opportunity for you to learn as much about real estate as you can, as well as reaching out to as many people as you can. So we know that if you are able to get a great start within the first 90 days, you're able to create that momentum, right? So that's why the first 90 days is important. Thank you, David, for asking that question. Appreciate it. All right, so if you guys have not joined the KW Vision exclusive page, join it. Why should you join it? Because we provide updates there, classes, events, birthdays, anniversaries, general news, agent needs and wants. So if you're looking for electrician, plumber, general contractor, home inspector, all those things, you can post it on the Facebook KW Vision exclusive page and you can get your questions answered. All right. So if you guys have any questions, you're dealing with issues, we do have a standard procedure. So send an email to us, right? Whether it's to me, to Amy or Monique or Mo. Make sure that if it's, let's say you're emailing myself, make sure that you are CCing Amy and Mo in there. Because the thing is, we want clear communication. We want to make sure that everyone's getting the message. Whether one of us are out, we're busy, at least we know that someone's got that message. Does it make sense?
Yeah, yes,
How many people? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Thank you. So, yeah, appreciate it. All right, so some of you guys may not know, some of you guys know, I do an agent referral contest every month, right? How it works is that you refer an agent to me. They just have to talk to me. They don't necessarily have to join. It's just the fact of them having a conversation. Because at the end of the day, your job isn't to close agents to bring to KW Vision. That's my job, right? So all I'm asking is if you can just refer me to someone that's willing to have a conversation with me. That's it, right? So this month, we have a 4-way tie. So I usually give out $100 to the agent that's referring the most, but this month or last month, we had 4-way. So instead of me picking out just one winner, I'm picking out 4 winners, right? That's just the right thing to do. So who are we calling up first for our KW Vision Growth Award for the month of August?
Mr. David Ibanez.
All right, Mr. David Moss, coming down. Have to get to the obstacle course there.
Sorry.
There you go. No worries. Yes. So, Mr. David, hold on, David. Hold on. Gotta give you that cash money. I don't want people to think that. Wait, you're telling people that you get prizes, you know, and you get anything. What's going on there? So, yeah. Yes. So it's a 4-way tie, right? So 4 people are getting For, 100 divided by 4, which is $25. So you get most of the money, it's not mine.
Oh.
Ooh. All right, perfect, so let's get over to David. Yeah. David, Mr. David. All right, who's the next winner?
Mike Garabay.
Mike Garvey, come on down, Mike Garvey. Thank you, sir. Let me give you your cash money. This nice envelope. These are all crisp dollars, fresh from the bank. You know. Yeah, so they're nice and crispy. Yeah, you are so welcome. All right, perfect. All right, can you stay up here? All right, who's our next winner?
Mr. Victor Hugo Del Carpio.
Mr. Coach Victor, Hugo Del Carpio. That's you, folks. Yeah. There you go, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, absolutely. Let me give you your cash money. Nice and crisp, straight from the bank. Literally straight from the bank. I went to Chase Bank and literally got it. So, yeah, it's fresh dollars and it's real. All right, perfect. Yeah. Oh, Victor.
Wait, hold on, one more.
Let me leave back here. Oh, okay, perfect. So we got to probably wondering, there's 3 people up here. You said 4. Well, the 4th person unfortunately will not be here today, but I will make sure to keep their money safe. Keep their money safe. I'm not gonna spend it. I'll keep it. All right, let's give it up for our business from my father. Now, the great thing about this contest, anyone can join. You don't have to be here for a million years or have a certain amount of money or whatever. Anyone can win. Also, another benefit is that the people that decide to join us, they go into your profit share. So these people that decide to join us, they actually go into your profit share. So it helps create that passive income. So it's a win-win situation. Yes, Mr. David.
For your competition, do they have to already be licensed, or if they're in the process, is that?
They have to be licensed. Yes, so you say, on the previous screen there, I have the rules there, and one of them does say like, yes, yes. Yes, right here. So, agent.
Nobody can read it.
Oh, okay, cool. So no one can read it.
Well, like something.
Agent has to be licensed.
This.
Yes. Oh, there's some music. That's where we're waiting for, huh? It wasn't on that before. Downstairs. Apparently there's a ghost that is here, that's what I heard. So when I was brought in, they told me that there was a ghost that's in our office. So I think sometimes the ghost plays around with stuff around here. So just letting you guys know about it.
I don't like that.
Yeah. It's okay, Amy. The ghost only messes with me. During our Stakeholder Meeting. It sounds weird. Ghost only messes with me. You're totally fine. So what's happening at our market center? So we are having our simple steps to become a real estate expert on probate, divorce, and bankruptcy. That's going to be Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. This will definitely be a great class to attend because these things happen. You know, probate happens, divorce happens, and bankruptcy happens. So it'd be nice for you to get a keen understanding of it. Thanks, thank you. All right, so we have our lunch and learn with Mr. John Trios is gonna be next Thursday, September 21st from 12 to 1 p.m. He's gonna be sharing the 4 strategies to motivate your buyers and sellers. So this is definitely a class you need to attend because motivation is a huge part to get your clients to move forward. So if you don't have the right tools to get your clients to move forward, they're not going to, right? They're gonna tell you that they're gonna wait till January or February to buy a house. And the thing is, we know that there's no sign that home prices are gonna go down next year. There's no sign that interest rates are gonna go down next year. But we know that if you qualify to buy a house right now, you need to make sure to move forward on it. And John's gonna share those strategies with you guys next week. Also, next week, next Friday, we have a class on avoid the 3 downfalls of overpricing a home in today's market. Very, very, very important. So when you guys are going to those listing appointments, make sure you guys are taking stock of what's going on with the inventory, what homes are selling for. The last thing you want is for a home to sit on the market very long. I was talking to one of my investor clients last night, and one of their properties that they have listed in Palm Desert is on the market for about 117 days. Yes, yeah, so now they're talking to me when they take it over, so we'll see what happens.
And there are some more classes coming for the rest of this month.
Yes. Yeah,
I'm
that's
worried
really,
about that.
yes.
My house was sitting forever. I was getting discouraged, but I just went under contract today.
Yes, congratulations, yes, and this house is located in Naperville, okay, okay,
67 days,
67 days.
and I was sweating.
Yeah.
Yeah, my client kept calling like anything yet, no, and we lowered the price and it went.
That did it.
Yeah,
The price.
It
yeah,
was the price, well, we only lowered it 15,000, but it was under 500, like
well, that's the thing.
four
Yeah.
nine 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 nine.
Well, you gotta think about it, right? Cause when you're, as a buyer, you're setting different price parameters,
Yeah,
right? So you're like, hey, I don't wanna spend more than 500. So I'm not seeing your house at 525, 515, 505, maybe 500, but as soon as you drop it down below, it comes up on my radar. And we know
Yeah.
that the lower price home it is, the more qualified buyers you have for it. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely with that price adjustment, that definitely got more eyes attention on it,
yeah.
yes. Dark,
There is one event happening this month that I thought I put up there and I didn't, on the 29th. Secrets for listings and RE success. That's a big one. We have our guests is coming in from
from Florida,
Florida.
yes.
So you're definitely gonna want to be here for that one.
Yeah, and so we'll definitely send out more details, we'll send out a flyer today as well.
Yes.
Yes, perfect. So our KW community classes, we have classes for KW military, KW IP mastermind, nucleus for KW commercial, so our KW commercial brokers out there. We got a series starting, KW operations, luxury mastermind, and KW DIE color real estate. All right, campaigns. So definitely check out our campaigns, go to your command. They've actually got to revamp the system in terms of how to generate leads through KW Command. So definitely check it out. They have a lot of great tutorials and videos of how you can actually set up those campaigns. And then also there's a QR code and there's also a way to sign up and you can actually attend the training events that they have. I've been talking to a lot of agents. I've been utilizing this new system and it's been working. I mean, they generate leads under $1 per lead. So it's definitely working. So definitely check it out. All right. So more training for command, command your success in 30 minutes, another class of command that's gonna be September 11th and 12th. It's free, so check it out. Also some more Keller Williams University classes, level up your lead generation, leverage series for visioning. So this is more geared towards people that want, maybe want to establish a team, as well as creating leverage for your business. All right, so let's give it up for Keller Williams being one of the best employers for women. I'm all about that girl power, because if it wasn't for women, we wouldn't be here. Biologically. Yes, yes, yes. All right, TCPA. Yes, Christina, correct. Yes. So TCPA, making sure you guys are not calling people on the do not call list. Because it can be quite expensive and no, I am not paying your bill. I know I'm a nice guy, but I'm not that nice, all right? So making sure that you guys are calling people, make sure they're not on the do not call, right? Now, if you're getting leads from us, those leads are scrubs. You don't have to worry about it. But if you're out getting leads on your own, you definitely have to take that precaution because there are a couple of cases going on right now with people calling on the do not call list. All right. So, real estate market update. What have you guys been noticing about the market right now? You guys been noticing? I know we talked a little bit about it, but what have you guys been noticing?
Prices aren't falling,
Prices are falling?
or not.
Are not. Right? Yeah. Yeah, prices are falling, right? Yes. Okay. Anything else you guys experiencing? Maybe writing offers? Are you guys competing with more people or less people when you write offers? More people. Absolutely, all right. Now, obviously, that probably has to do with price point, right? Because we know that the more affordable house is, you're dealing with more buyers. And the less affordable house is, you're dealing with less, right? So I'll go more in depth with that as we go through our graph presentation. So if you're looking at this graph here, we're focused on 2023. This deals with the active listed inventory, meaning the homes that are currently for sale. So if we're looking at the 2023 blue line here, where's this trending? It's trending up a little bit, right? Which means that we are seeing an increase in inventory. Now, what do you think can cause that? Why we're seeing an increase in inventory?
Days on marketers.
Well, yeah, days on market, but also, why do you think more people are deciding to put their houses on the market now?
Carried as far as home prices may go down.
Right, absolutely, and then also they're probably waiting for that interest rate to go down a little less, and it's not. So the people that are putting their house on the market now typically are dealing with life events. whether they're downsizing or they need a bigger house or they're relocating, things of that nature. So if we're looking at demand means that the amount of buyers that are currently in the market, if we're following this blue line here for 2023, where is this trending?
Down.
Trending down, meaning that we're having less qualified buyers on the market, right? Now, why do you think we're having less buyers in the market?
The interest rate.
Interest rate, exactly, second. You're not gonna pay another $2,000 for this or $3,000 or whatever your situation is, right? So we're trending down. Now, normally in a real estate market, the fourth quarter and the first quarter are typically the slowest times in our market. You know, so this, what you're seeing here is kind of representative of what we normally see in the market. Obviously, we're not usually dealing with high interest rates, but we typically do see buyer demand tend to go low as we go past September. Now, what just occurred for a lot of people within this month or last month? What just occurred with a lot of people? Yeah, the school starts on the first, but back to school, exactly, back to school, right? So back to school, parents and kids went back to school, now all of a sudden they're focused on what?
School.
Their school, right? Their kids, right? So the kids are back to school, September's now, and then what holiday comes up in October? Right, and then we'll have holiday comes up in November. And then what holiday comes up in December? A few of them, you know, regardless of which, whatever you celebrate, right? It's a few of them in December, right? So people start to get in family mode during this time. So when people get in the family mode, what takes the back seat?
Moving
mode? Okay, sure, we'll say that. I guess I can work real estate, right? Yes, but it's all engulfed with, oh, well, you know, my kids are back in school and I gotta work on the school schedule, you know, and then we're planning for our trips and then we're gonna visit family next month. And you know what, just call me the first of the year. Don't call me on January 1st. Oh, they always tell you that, right? Don't call me January 1st, call me like the second week of January, right? So this typically happens in the conversation. Now, if we're looking at expected market time. So when a home comes on the market and then when it gets into escrow. So if we're looking at the blue line here for 2023, where is that trending? Meaning what?
More days on the market.
More days on the market, meaning homes are staying on the market longer, right? Now, this is luxury. So any homes that are listed at $800,000 or more is considered luxury in San Bernardino County. Now, based on the luxury market, if we're looking at 2023, where is this trending?
Yeah.
In terms of active listing inventory, amount of luxury homes that are on the market, where's that trending?
Turning down.
Going down.
It's going down. It's going down, right, exactly. Yeah, so it's going down, meaning that we're having less luxury homes come on the market, it's going down. So that's what's trending with luxury in terms of inventory. Now, if we're looking at demand, meaning about buyers that are looking for that price point, where is this trending? Up. So you have less homes that are at $800,000 or more, but you have more buyers looking for those homes. So if you're an agent out there, what type of listing should you be looking for? Luxury, right?
Yeah.
Because chances of me having a luxury listing, we can find a buyer for that because we have a more buyer demand. As opposed to homes that are priced, you know, not luxury, that buyer demand has gone down. Now, what type of buyers do you think, or where they're actually from, that are buying homes that are luxury, $800,000 or more? Where do you think they're coming from? LA County, absolutely, right? Because homes over there are a little more expensive than homes in San Bernardino County, right? Where else are they coming from?
Let's see.
Orange County.
Orange County, absolutely. I can sell my two bath condo in Irvine for 1.4, and I can buy a freaking mansion in Chino, right? Yeah. What other county do you think people are coming from? So we got LA, we got Orange County. What's another county that's around us? Riverside County, absolutely, that's a good one, right? Yeah, so we have a lot of these people coming from different counties, and they're coming to San Bernardino County because for them, this is still affordable. It's like, wait a second, I don't gotta spend $2 million for a house. I can buy a house, a big house for under 2 million or under 1 million, as opposed to that one bedroom condo I can buy in Orange County for the same price. Yeah. So as long as we still have affordability here in San Bernardino, perceived affordability, you're still going to have opportunities to get clients into escrow. So again, if you are looking to get a deal, go for those luxury listings because we know we have a higher buyer demand for it. All right, now expected market time year over year. So for homes that are $800,000 or more, if we're looking at the blue line here, where's this trending? The blue line right there. It's going down, meaning that homes that are luxury are actually not still in the market as long, right? So luxury homes have higher demand, meaning there's more buyers looking for those, and those homes are staying in the market not as long. Does that make sense? Right? Because you have more buyers buying these houses, the homes obviously wouldn't be sitting on the market longer, right? Now, you guys know, you guys all get a copy of this presentation and slides. So use them. So when you're talking to your clients, because your clients, when you tell them, oh yeah, you know, it's a great time to sell your house, there's more buyers in the market, all that stuff, it's just, yeah. But when you're actually able to show them graphs and proof that this is a real thing, that listen, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, if we decide to sell your house, not only do we have more buyers demand, your home's gonna be on the market less time than it would be normally, right? All right, so this right here represents first time buyers house and affordability index. So if we're looking at this line here, where's the trending? Down, which means that we have less first time home buyer affordability, right? If we're looking, let's say back in 2010 or actually like 2011, 2012, you know, look at that percentage. Almost 90% of first time home buyers could afford a home. But as we're continuing to trend down, the first time home buyers affordability is constantly going down, which means we have less buyers, first time home buyers that can actually purchase a home, right? So this is something that would be good to share with your first time home buyers that may be thinking, oh, hey, Mike, you know, I want to buy a house, but I won't wait until next year. I don't know if we're gonna wait till next year, because we're trending this way, you may not be able to afford the house, just based on what we're seeing here. So if you're qualified to buy a house now, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, this is the time to do it. Use these graphs to show your facts, the reason why people should move forward, right? Does anyone have any questions regarding the graphs I went over today? You guys all good? You guys are all prepared, motivated to talk to your buyers and sellers? You're gonna share with them these graphs of why they should buy and sell a house now, and why they should not wait?
Yes.
Okay, so that's one person, so
Yeah.
one person, okay?
Yeah.
Right, you guys are in the business of helping people buy and sell, and that's real estate, right? Use this information to help more people, right?
Yeah, because you can show those graphs, I mean, you know, and it will be very clear to the buyer or seller.
Exactly.
Okay, where's the market going, I mean, you know, as you can see, I mean, it's going down, what is the buyer's concern?
Exactly, because if you're just telling this stuff, it's kind of like, yeah, Ray, you just want me
You just don't
you just want me to buy a house, that's why you're telling me this stuff. But when we're actually able to show them the graphs and the facts, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, you're right, maybe I should do that. Yeah, great, was this information helpful?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect, are you guys gonna use it?
Yeah.
All right, perfect, awesome. Well, I'm super excited to announce, we're gonna start a new program in our office. I'm gonna bring on a special guest, so as I click on the screen here, you're going to see her pop up. So, Productive Agent Launchpad with coach, trainer, Christy Baby. So, as Mo moves over to the slide, there she is. Can you hear us, Christy?
I can hear. Can you guys hear me?
You guys hear her?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, so Christy, tell us about this amazing program we're bringing to our agents.
Well, I am so excited to work with your market center. I honestly, and I can say this in all sincerity, I don't think I have worked with a team leader as energetic and committed to excellence as Kier. I am super pumped to be working with you guys. So what I do is I actually do Ignite training. And those of you that have been around the block are like, Ignite, not for me. I am really passionate about what I do, and I really do love getting the new agents up and running. That's what we typically think about with Ignite. And so that is definitely, if you're new, you're going to be with me for a month. It takes you a month to get through Ignite. We do it 5 days a week, Monday through Friday from 10 to about noon. But if you're already in production, don't count this out. In every session, I have lots of agents who have been around the block. They've been selling real estate for 10, 15, 20, 30 years that will come into Ignite because, you know, they're wanting to reignite or just get themselves motivated. And I think where my little sweet spot is I follow the models. I am a lover of KW, systems, tools, models, training. I've been a team leader. I've been a productivity coach. I've worked for other companies. I've been an agent for Coldwell Banker. I've seen it, you know, and done it. And I really believe in what we do and how we train. And I'm going to say I add a lot to it. I try to keep things really, really real. It's not just, okay, go do this, but how? What are you going to say? How are you going to do it? And really give some concrete help so that it's not a bunch of fluff. It is, you come in, it's hard hitting. Here's what you need to do to get productive. Right now, I've got a group in that is, it's just magic. This group is so great. They are interacting and talking and asking questions. And most importantly, they're doing what we're asking them to do, right? They're going out and getting busy. And I had a gal the other day that shared a story where she said she was outdoor knocking, and she's just trying to, make conversation, walked up to a woman, got into like this 30-minute conversation about new house construction in the neighborhood. This is a brand new agent, by the way. And 45 minutes later, she's in this woman's home. This woman's wife is like the jewelry designer for one of the TV shows like Outlander or something, I don't know. And they're talking about listing their house eventually. And this kind of stuff, gets shared, and we talk about, what do you say and how do you do this? And the thing that made me so excited was the agent at the end. She goes, I just have to say, the only reason I went door knocking that day, I didn't want to, I had all kinds of errands, was that I knew the next day you were going to say, tell me about your conversations, who's talking to people. And I wanted to have something to say, I actually went out and did the work. So it's a really cool community of agents that are trying to help build each other up, share, motivate. And then I'm going to just do everything I can to help you get into production, because that's what it's about. We don't do this for the fun of it. We really believe in learning for earning's sake, not just for learning's sake, right? And if that's what it's about, is go get into production. So I'm ready to go. We're starting October 2nd with you guys on Monday. And who's going to join me? I hope to see you guys all there.
Yes, absolutely. So who's going to join me? So one of the things I promise each and every one of you guys is I want to bring in as much value as I can to you guys, because I was an agent at one point. So I'm an agent. I was in your seat, right? I was a brand new agent, didn't know what to do, felt like, did I make the right decision? Man, should go get another job. I just don't know what to do. So I want to put people in with you guys that can help you get in production sooner than later. So Christy, if someone's following everything that you're saying, she's also gonna give you guys homework, so she's gonna give you things to do. Can a person get a transaction in 30 days?
Sorry, say that again, Kira, I couldn't hear that.
Yeah, you hear me, okay. I said, if everyone is doing what you're saying to do, and they're attending your classes, they're on Zoom, by the way, so you can literally be anywhere and attend their classes. And she didn't mention that if you do miss a class, she does record it, and it's new stuff. It's not like you can look at it and say, this says 2021. This is fresh stuff that you actually did. So my question is that if someone follows all your instructions, does all the homework that you're providing, can they close the deal in 30 days?
Can they? Well, I always say when somebody says, is this possible? I say, well, have other people done it? And I go back to an Ignite class that I taught, where it's one of my favorite stories. There was a girl in Ignite, and she was one of those teacher's pet girls that we all want, she did everything I told her to do. And maybe on week 2, she was doing what we asked her to do. You talk to 10 people a day, right? And spoiler alert, if you didn't know that, we're going to ask you to work and talk to people. So she called somebody that she didn't want to call, but she knew she had to do it because that was her assignment. And this person that she was so uncomfortable calling ends up saying, oh, funny you call. I'm actually thinking about listing my house. It was a primo listing. This was, I don't know, 8 years ago. So she, it wasn't like a crazy seller's market, but she ended up taking that listing, getting 30 offers on it, closing the deal. And one of the agents in the Ignite class helped her with the open houses for it, picked up a buyer and closed a deal. So can somebody close the deal just with, get under contract in that first 30 days? Absolutely. You just have to trust us that we're going to steer you into the right place and do what we ask you to do. I promise we're going to lead you to a good place.
Perfect, I love it. And she also mentioned you have to be teacher fed. So you guys all have to be teacher fed. Yeah, so let's give it up for this. Class is going to start October 5th, is that right?
October
2nd. October 2nd, Monday, October 2nd. So obviously we'll send more details as we get closer to it. So awesome. Well, thank you, Christy, for tuning in the morning with us, and definitely looking excited for Productive Agent Launchpad and getting you guys on production. So let's give it up for Christy again. All right, so we have another special guest. And I'm going to have NHD Christina introduce her. So Christina, come on up. Yeah. Get up here. Yeah. Yeah, so Christina's been a long-term vendor partner with us. She's always available. I've closed a few deals with her as well as other agents have. She's always willing to help out. She's donated for our Maui or our silent auctions, and she's just a great vendor partner. And I definitely recommend you guys to use her. She's great. She provides you a lot of great value, a lot of great information, and her guest speaker today can provide great information. So, all right, let's speak, Christina.
Thank you so much. You can take over for me. Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for allowing me. It only took a year for me to finally have this lunch and learn from you guys. No, and that goes to prove consistency is key, right? You guys are after a client and things like that. So I'm honored to be here and be a part of this amazing team. Maylana, can you see? Where's Maylana? Where's the camera? Here?
Yes,
I'm
thank
here.
you.
You're here. Hi, Maylana. So she's been waiting that we're starting at 12, but you guys are wealth of information. Sorry.
That's all right, I just like to talk a lot. That's my bad.
And our beautiful Maylana. So Maylana is Property ID's in-house attorney, our counsel. We're the only NHG company that provides that. And you guys are going to be in for some more golden nuggets today. So don't worry about taking notes. We're going to send everything, all the information she shares with you today through via email. And Maylana's been with Property ID for 24 years. Maylana?
25.
25, we're going on 25. I would say 24. 24. So we are her only client and we're lucky to have her. And I know we're going over, so I'll let her take over. Maylana.
Thank you, beautiful Christina. Hello, it's good to see you. Do I have the ability to share my screen? Hope so. I'll do my best. Okay, so I can't see you, but I'm sure you're all very lovely. My name is Maylana. I've been Property ID's lawyer for 25 years. I am the past president of the real estate section of the Bar Association here in the San Francisco Bay. I'm part of Kids in Cancer Camp Agape, which is a 4-night camp for terminally ill children and their families. And before that, I did divorces in Beverly Hills. I heard y'all talking about divorces there. Really good money, really horrible work. Okay, so I have so many things to share with you, but I don't want to talk about what I want to talk about. I want to talk about what you want to talk about. So, like really quick here, we can talk about faults. So here is a map of Chino Hills area faults. I don't know if you can see that large, but these are the faults. Why would we care about that? Because that is what natural hazard disclosure is all about. We can talk about the 4-letter F word. My favorite word, no, I'm kidding. My least favorite 4-letter F word, FEMA. This is a presentation that FEMA put on. I was lucky enough to be a part of it, talking about flood. But the most interesting part of that 2-hour meeting was something that FEMA had posted, item number 2, water does not read flood maps. Okay, thank you, FEMA. This is why it is so important for you to know, because FEMA says water does not read flood maps. We know this. Here is a property ID report on Stafford Court in Chino Hills. When you look at any natural hazard disclosure report, it doesn't matter who put it out. What you're going to see for the flood zone is no. This property is not in a special flood hazard zone. But when you go into the body of the report,
And you're only gonna see this in your property ID reports. You're not gonna see it in any other report. Look at this. So this property, oops, I went to the wrong place. This property is not, oh, sorry, don't get seasick. I'm getting there. There it is. It's not in a special flood hazard zone, but it is in zone XPL. What is XPL? XPL means the only reason it is not in a special flood hazard zone is because it is being protected by a levee. So I'm sure most of you are all way too young to remember. There was a song by one of the greatest rock and roll bands of all time, Led Zeppelin. And there was a line in their song, it was called The Levee. If it keeps on raining, the levee is going to break. Okay, I don't know. If you haven't heard that song, you may want to YouTube it. It's very good. But yes, they were absolutely right about that, Led Zeppelin. Yes. And what did we see all over the state of California? Levees breaking. Also, something you will see in the property ID report only is, and because we already knew 15 years ago that water does not read flood maps. And so this property on, what is it, Stafford Court in Chino Hills, maybe it's not in a special flood hazard zone, but it is within 300 feet of the special flood hazard zone. So that's kind of important to know. Couple of quick things. I'm going to jump around real quick, and if you want more, just say so. Something you may not know in the property ID report is a future tax estimator. This is so important for all of your friends and family who don't like math. I hate math. I'm allergic to math. It was the best C I ever got was math. But in the property ID report, you will see what is called a future property tax estimator. Trust me, you don't have to do any math. All you have to do is enter the information. So here we are, this property on Stafford Court. Well, the previous assessed value is $383,000. Wow, I'd love to be paying that property tax. Unfortunately, it's going to sell for a lot more than that. Probably around, I don't know, let's say 1 million. And let's say I'm going to buy this property and I am going to close on, you know what? We're going to close on my son's birthday. There it is. Calculate. It's going to give you the annual property tax, which I'm sure is a lot more than it was, or it's going to be a lot more than it was. And it's going to give you the supplemental property taxes. What else is very exciting about this report that you won't see anywhere else is from page 2 of the property ID report. You can chat with Sammy. Sammy is not a computer or an AI or a robot or anything like that. Sammy is a beautiful, wonderful human being who has been Property ID's vice president of client relations for the past 22 years. So when you're chatting with her, you're chatting with the top dog. Let me share with you real quick, just in case you haven't heard, the property ID report comes in Chinese. If you're interested in that, you can see that again, if you have questions, you can chat with Sammy here. The natural hazard disclosure statement is in Chinese. And it does say, you know, don't sign here. You've got to sign it in the English version because the law is written in English. You'll see that the report is summarized entirely in Chinese. And if your Chinese isn't as good as your clients, you can always go to English right there. And of course, here's just real quick in Spanish, just in case, you know, or Espanol right there. And again, if your Spanish isn't as good, you can always click on English. And you can always find the one-page NHD. And, you know, tienes preguntas, chat con Sammy aquí on peligros naturales en español. So there you have it. I just wanted to share a couple of good things with you. Do you guys want to hear about nasty lawsuits in which agents got sued? Do you want to hear about additional dwelling units and how natural hazard disclosures are really important in that? Do you want to hear about fire? What do you want to hear? Tell me what you want.
Well, what have you been seeing most recently?
Say what?
What have you been seeing most recently? Like
What have I been seeing most recently? That is such a good question. Because it's ugly everywhere. But let me share with you something that I have seen recently. So let me just throw it out right there that I am not a fan of social media. So if you try to friend me on this or that, forgive me, you will never hear back from me. And it's not because I don't like you, it's because I don't like a million people in my pants. I don't like social media. There is, you know, I'm just telling you, there is one place I do check periodically from time to time when I feel the need to scare myself. And that place is called, I don't know if you've heard of it, it's called Nextdoor. Oh, it's like Facebook, but these horrible people are not your friends. So this lady had moved into my neighborhood and she posted on Nextdoor, "Hey everybody, I'm new in the neighborhood," you know, and everything was all good and fine before I bought my house. But now, oh, there's a crack developing in my dining room and the floors in my foyer are sloping. So I'm putting this out there for y'all because you know the neighborhood so much better than I do. Is this common in our neighborhood? Is this because, you know, we've had rain after 6 years of drought, or is this just me? So I was reading this and I was like, oh, honey, that's just you. But another lady in my neighborhood, if I may be so bold as to explain, this is my neighbor, Carolyn. Carolyn is my neighbor who knows where all the missing cats go. Carolyn is my neighbor who posts photographs of the license plates of speeding teenagers. That's Carolyn. Christina, would you please read what Carolyn wrote to our brand new neighbor?
Yes, I would go after the seller, but go hard on the realtor. The realtor is the expert and should have made sure this was disclosed.
Oh my God.
Okay, guys. This is what I see, and this is social media, and this is why I don't like it. There was a time when the only person you had to worry about maybe was the person who lives right across the street from the buyer, or the person who lives right next door, coming with cookies and saying, "Hey, welcome to the neighborhood. Hey, did they get rid of all the rats that were in that house? Oh, because there were so many rats in there. Oh, they didn't tell you about the rats? Oh, you know, they were supposed to tell you about the rats." Well, now thanks to this horrible place called Nextdoor, now you have thousands of Carolyns giving your buyers free legal advice after they've closed escrow and they're not happy. Now, you know, during the pandemic, there was a lot of excitement going on, right? So people were paying 100,000 over asking. People lost their marbles. They were driven completely by emotion. They never read anything during the escrow process, which, by the way, they still don't. They may skim it and sign it, but they are not processing it. They are not going to read anything until Carolyn in the neighborhood tells them, oh, didn't they tell you this? And didn't they tell you that? And didn't they tell you the Elsinore fault runs right up Avenida de Portugal? Didn't they tell you that the Chino fault is so close? That is when they start to actually go back and start reading things. And that I want to share with you some lawsuits, because unfortunately, sometimes we do our best learning by looking at other people's misfortune, which, I mean, that's no fun, but ultimately, so you got to learn. That's how you got to learn. So this is 26 pages. It is a directory of lawsuits. These are, every single one of them, natural hazard disclosure related. That means that something happened on the property or something didn't happen on the property but wasn't disclosed. That is natural hazard disclosure related, and there was a lawsuit. The first one on the list is a very important one because it is the one that made law in California that buyers are legally entitled to receive all facts materially affecting the value or desirability of the property. You have heard this before, but I want you to think about this for just 1 second. What does that mean right there? Who can answer? What does that mean? Say it. What is it? What is that? Desirability means I want, I don't want, I like, I don't like. That is desirability. Buyers can sue for that, right? Let me give you an example. Today for lunch, I will desire fish tacos, right? Okay. Buyers can sue for desirability. And do they? Of course they do. Here is this, the next lawsuit on the list, Fleckley versus Coldwell Banker. Buyer suffered no loss. There was no damage. There was no problem. But after the close of escrow, buyer learned that this property is in a local landslide zone. Buyer came back and said, I never would have desired to buy a property that's in a local landslide zone. Buyer sued and got $1 million for that, for nothing, right? So it's really important to kind of understand. There's so many other laws. There was like 260, but we don't have time to go over that. But it's really important to kind of understand, know what you're doing, know why you're doing it. I would like to share with you the evolution of a lawsuit. For those of you who have not been sued, yay! Say a prayer and go on with your life. But for those of you who have, you know what I'm talking about. So a buyer will close escrow and of course read nothing, and will then notice, there's a dark circle that's showing up in the ceiling of my dining room. And what's that all about? Buyer will call in a roofer. The roofer will come out and say, oh yeah, this roof has leaked before. And guess what? It's going to leak again because your roof is defective. But I can put in a new roof for you tightly for $60,000 in March. I'm a little busy right now. So, you know, your buyer is like, what? I mean, if I had known about this, I would have asked for the seller to fix it before we closed escrow. I would have asked for a credit. But here I am now, and nobody told me this, and I've looked through all my papers. Nowhere does it mention that the roof is defective and that it has leaked before. You know, I'm not happy. I never would have desired to buy a house that has a defective roof. So, you know, what is the buyer going to do? The buyer is going to jump on that horrible place called next door. Hey, neighbors, I'm the one who bought the house at 1313 Mockingbird Lane. And I wanted to know if any of you have ever seen a roofer up here before. So this buyer doesn't know that she's basically establishing fraud and non-disclosure as lawsuits and misrepresentations. But she's getting up there on Nextdoor because she wants to hear from the neighborhood. She's going to say, have any of you ever noticed roofers on my house before I bought the house? Who's the first person who's going to reply? Carolyn, of course, that jerk. Carolyn. She's going to say, oh, welcome to the neighborhood. I've been living right up the street for the past 42 years. Yes, I did see roofers before the guy who sold the house, that jerk. We all hated him and we're so glad he left the neighborhood. Yes, he had a roofer up there before he listed the house. I would go after him, but go hard on the realtor, because the realtor is the expert and should have made sure this was disclosed. Here is the phone number of my son-in-law, who's an excellent lawyer in town. He won't charge you anything until he closes your case and wins, right? So, of course, you know, the buyer's going to call Carolyn's son-in-law and say, well, I got nothing to lose. I don't have to pay anything out of pocket. If this guy wins, I get some money. Yay. Pay for my new $60,000 roof. Carolyn's son-in-law will tell the buyer this. Look, your $60,000 roof isn't worth my attorney fees. Doesn't justify. So here's what you need to do, okay? We need to build a case. So go home and print out every single piece of paper. I want screenshots of every text message with your agent. And don't worry about your agent. Your agent has insurance for this purpose. I want every email. I want every post-it note. I want everything. And I will build a case for you, right? Carolyn's son-in-law will draft what is called a pre-litigation letter. A pre-litigation letter, and I've written a few in my day. Pre-litigation letters are basically, I don't know, 5 pages of legal mumbo-jumbo, lawyer bully tactics, designed to scare your pants off and keep you up at night. They're very effective. So Carolyn's son-in-law may also attach a copy of a lawsuit, right? With your name on it. And it might even say draft here. And it'll refer, the letter will refer to the letter. You have failed to disclose the Chino fault. You have failed to disclose the threatened California gnatcatcher, the endangered western yellow-billed cuckoo, the liquefaction zone, the Kenneth Hunter oil and gas well, the fact that this property would be in a flood zone, but for it is being protected by a levee, and it's close to the special flood hazard area, and it's in a very high fire hazard severity zone on 4 different maps. Had my client known any of this, my client never would have desired to buy this property, and all of this is damages exceeding the $2.2 million that my client paid for this property. However, my client wishes to settle this dispute amicably and avoid litigation because my client is an angel who read everything, but you didn't disclose it, agent, right? Please contact me at your earliest convenience, indicating your intent to settle this case within the next 15 days. Otherwise, we will go forward and file this lawsuit against you. Very truly yours, Carolyn's son-in-law, right? If any of you have ever been on the receiving end of a letter like that, I am sorry. I promise you it didn't come from me or my ex-husband. Okay. Okay. Right. Who used to be an ambulance chasing jerk. But that's how they work. You need to know what you're doing and you need to know why you're doing it. Do you want, actually, I have a question for you. What is the number one reason real estate agents get sued? Number one.
It's tourism.
Number one reason, yes, I will eat a Smartie in your honor, Smartie. I think that was Q there. Because the number one reason agents get sued is non-disclosure. So why would you ever include incomplete natural hazard disclosure reports into your transactions, whether you're representing buyers or sellers? Don't do that. Do you want to hear about ADUs or do you want to hear about one more lawsuit?
Lawsuit or ADUs?
ADU.
ADU.
Okay, ADUs, additional dwelling units, casitas. So the state of California passed Senate Bills 8, 9, and 10 with the intent to expand housing production in the state of California, making the construction of additional dwelling units faster, easier, and cheaper. But it's not all, that great because, there are things you have to understand about additional dwelling units. Number one, they are expensive, okay? So in areas that probably need to have ADUs more than anywhere else, they're going to be at least $100,000 to construct. And it's hard to find financing to construct an ADU. So you got to have some cash. So you can shell out that money to build your ADU. Yes, it'd be great. You can rent it. But if you do rent it, it's very important to know that you are as an owner who's renting residential real estate, you are subject to Assembly Bill 646 that requires you just make certain disclosures to your tenants. You have to disclose regarding flood. Because, and by the way, Property ID sells a renter report for when you lease residential property. You have to disclose this because in the event, for example, your backyard is in a flood zone, but the front of the property is not in a flood zone, so your home itself is not actually in the flood zone and you're not paying flood insurance, you are going to have to disclose the fact that the back portion of the property is in a flood zone because the buyer is going to need flood insurance for, their stuff. And if you are in a flood zone, your flood insurance doesn't cover your tenant. That's very important to know. And by the way, one more thing, you're going to have to provide it upon request of your tenant in Chinese, Korean, Spanish, Vietnamese, and Tagalog, all of which Property ID provides, and upon their request. So I have a casita story of my own. In 2004, I bought a house in the East San Francisco Bay. And actually, before I bought it, before I even made the offer on it, of course, I had the property ID report. I knew everything there was to know about this property because that's the way I buy real estate. I do everything before I even make the offer. And I knew already everything there was to know that was negative about this property because I had everything. So I buy the house, I close escrow, and 10 years later, my father-in-law, who was living in Riverside in, where was he living? Corona. In Corona with my mother-in-law, my father-in-law became very sick, and it was clear he was going to die. So I called up my mother-in-law and I said, listen, you know, we don't want you to be alone. We love you. We want you to come and live with us up here. My mother-in-law said to me this, oh, hell no. She said, my mother-in-law forced herself into my home. She lived with me and it was the worst 45 years of my life. I won't do that to you or me. I said, all right, I respect that. But what about this? What about, we have a great big backyard. What about if I build you a casita in the backyard? You can have your own kitchen, your own TV. You can come and go as you please, but we can keep an eye on each other. What do you say? She said, oh, that's lovely. Yes. Yes. I would love to live in a casita of my own with you guys. So I hired an architect. I paid him $25,000. He drew me my beautiful casita plans. I went into the city and they told me this. Oh, no, Melana. You see, your house is actually very close to two faults. Very important. The Franklin fault and the Southampton fault. That's a big problem. Another problem is the back part of your property where you're planning to put the casita is in a liquefaction zone on 3 different maps and it has expansive soils. That's a big problem. But the biggest problem, Melana, they told me, is that your property has habitat for the California tiger salamander. Don't you touch that salamander, Melana, they told me. We won't let you put a doghouse back there. We won't let you put a bird bath back there. And if you harm the salamander or its habitat, that's a $50,000 fine and a year in jail for you if you do, because that salamander has more rights than you, right? I mean, I'm like, really? So anyway, I'm sharing this with you because let's say I come to you and I say, you know, I looked online and I saw this beautiful property on Avenida de Portugal, and it's in my price range. It's in Chino Hills, 1.2 million. I can pull that off, I think. But the real reason why I want to see this property is because I noticed it has a nice backyard online. And my father-in-law is dying, and so I need to build a casita for my mother-in-law and get it done within the next, I don't know, 8 months. Can you show it to me? You say, let's go. So we go, we have a look. It's perfect. In fact, you even say to me, Melana, look, just beyond the swimming pool is this perfect clearing for your mother-in-law's additional dwelling unit. And I say, let's go right up the offer right now. We do. Of course, it's accepted. Yay. Unfortunately, after I hire my architect and pay $25,000, I learn that the city says, oh, no, Melana, there are exceptions to Senate Bills 8, 9, and 10. They are, let me see, farmlands, wetlands, flood, fire, fault, and threatened and endangered species. We won't talk about the fact that this property is so close to the Elsinore Fault, the Central Fault, and the Chino Fault. It's in a high fire severity zone. It's in the wildland urban interface in the California Public Utilities Commission high fire threat. It's got mining operations. It's in a landslide zone on the city maps, 2 of them. And most importantly, it's got the threatened California gnatcatcher, the endangered western yellow-billed cuckoo, and the threatened California black rail, all of which make it absolutely impossible for us to allow you to build your casita. Okay, so I'm going to come back to you and go, wait a minute. Remember, I explained pretty clearly the purpose for purchasing this property? Remember, you said, oh yeah, clearing, yada, okay, well, now I can't build my house. So my purpose for purchasing this property is now frustrated. I want my $1.2 million back, plus the $25,000 I paid that architect, right? So I know what you're gonna say because I heard Q say it. Oh, but Maylana, the prices in this neighborhood, there's like 10 offers coming in on each property. So let's put your house back on the market, make you some money. Yay. That would be the right answer, right? So I have a very important lawsuit for you. This is probably one of the most important lawsuits we're going to talk about all day. Here it is. Field versus Century 21 Cloden Furnace. This lawsuit is very important because the judge ruled this. Listen, okay? This is where you got to listen. When an agent makes a statement, not knowing if the statement is true, the statement is construed as false. That's fraud. So I am sharing that very important case with you because you need to be very careful with what you say. I have heard agents, and I mean yesterday, I have heard agents saying to their clients this: a buyer, don't worry about the Elsinore fault and the Central fault and the Chino fault. All of California is in an earthquake fault zone. No, that is not a true statement. So don't say that ever again. And I hear this one: oh, buyer, don't worry about the very high fire hazard severity zone. All of California is in a very high fire hazard severity zone. No, it isn't. So don't say it ever again. These are not true statements. This is what I would do if I were an agent. I would email this report to the buyer. What does the E in email stand for? All you millennials, calm down. I don't mean electronic. The E in your email is your evidence. Remember that. Buyers will never remember conversations they had with you when they are heavily represented by legal counsel. They will only remember the conversations the way Carolyn's son-in-law told them. This is how you're going to remember that conversation. Nope. She didn't say it like that. She said it like this, right? Your email is your evidence. So I would email this to the buyer with these words that I will email to you, so you don't have to write them down. Hello, my wonderful buyer. Attached is the property for this, the report for Avenida de Portugal in Chino Hills. Please read this report very carefully. You know they will never read it until Carolyn tells them to, right? Please read this report very carefully. If you have any questions about anything in this report, you can chat with Sammy from page 2. You can call them. Here is their phone number, 1-800-626-0106. They prepared this report for you. They are the most qualified to explain it, review it carefully, sign it, and return it to me. That email is evidence of your fiduciary duty. That email is evidence of your intent to provide complete disclosure, of your intent that you reminded them this is really important and you need to read it. And it's your intent that you've directed them to the people most qualified to explain it, because it's not you. You should never prepare a report, excuse me, you should never explain a report that you personally did not prepare. Always, the preparer of the report must explain it to the buyer, not you. And I have a question for you. Does Christina have your business?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I want to share with you something. I am available to you. No other natural hazard disclosure company makes a natural hazard disclosure lawyer available to you when you have questions. If you have an agent on the other side, or you have a contentious seller or whatever, and they have a question on the report, email me, CC them. Hello, Meilana. I am representing the buyer for this property on Venezia Terrace in Chino Hills. I have CC'd the agent, the listing agent. Please provide clarification regarding the fire form disclosure. Okay, so I will reply to everybody. I will understand you need help. The listing agent isn't complying with the law, whatever. I will paste the law in my email, and there you go. If you have a seller who's having a difficult time signing documents, whatever, they're angry about something, email me, CC them. I do want to tell you this. If you did not order a property ID report, please don't email me, because I cannot comment on the accuracy or inaccuracy of some other report. Only if it's a property ID report. You can call me anytime. Please don't call me on your divorces though, okay?
Meilana, really quick, did you show comparison reports? Can you do that really quick?
Sure, I can, but I want to know which ones do you want to see?
What's the other NHG company that?
What, like my machines?
My NHG, we'll show that, we'll show that one. It's super important.
Okay, Cheapo Depot. Let me tell you something. Your seller will never thank you for saving them $10 when their asses are getting sued because of the wrong report. Look at this. This is a property and 2 reports for the exact same property. They missed 3. They got them wrong. 23 other disclosures they didn't even bother to make. This document right here is Carolyn's son-in-law's happy dream come true. Of course, I would never say, and by the way, this property happens to be in San Bernardino, just FYI. So, and whoever, think about this, guys. If you were buying this house, would you want this report for yourself?
Oh.
No. You need to secure for your clients what you personally would want to receive if you were the purchaser. Here's another one. Another natural hazard disclosure company. Why? Why do they do this? Why? Because they knock off $10 and you guys, they fool you into thinking you're getting something equivalent to property ID, which you are not. And they don't care because they charge $10 less and they think, you know, that's all you care about. That's all your clients care about. Well, I promise you, when you're getting sued, you're going to care a lot more about what was missing in the report. So these are just some, don't worry, I'm going to email these to you so you don't have to think about it. And by the way, why would I email this to you? Why? Well, the only thing that matters is what's in writing, guys. That's it. It's the only thing that matters. People come in, talk all kinds of basura into your ear. When you want something, you want it in writing. hand them a pen, hand them a piece of paper, tell them, write it down, sign it, date it, and then I'll accept what you're saying. Because the only thing that matters is what's in writing. So I am going to send these to you because the only thing that matters is what's in writing. If I sent these to you and there was a comma out of place on anything here, I could be sued personally, right? For defamation, for libel, for slander, for interference with prospective business advantage, except for the fact that truth is an absolute defense. And these are bulletproof. So yes, I am going to send them to you so you can see with your own eyes and you can take a look. Very important to know what you're doing and why you're doing it and with whom you are doing business.
Yeah, if we can fill the schedule important, and it has nothing to do, I always say this because I know a lot of you have relationships with different reps, has nothing to do with the person individually. As she said, it's factual. So we are in the business of educating you guys. I mean, it's very mind-blowing to meet seasoned agents, escrow officers, seasoned brokers that don't know. And they're pretty much, to be blatant and bold, they're just being lied to, saying, oh yeah, we have this E&O insurance. That's the other thing we forgot to mention. We have the 20 million, which I think some of you have remembered, $20 million E&O insurance that names the brokers, the agents, the TCs, and the escrow as additionally insured.
Papelito talks, that's the right, the proof.
Pardon?
That's the proof, the 20 million.
Oh, yeah,
She's
yeah,
going.
we can issue that. I mean, the certificate, Milana, yep.
So Christina, if you email me that brokerage's information, I will request from our insurance broker the E&O certificates naming you guys as an additional insured. Now, let me just clarify something because it's really important. There are natural hazard disclosure companies that are owned by very large title companies. They come in and they say, oh, we have 60 million of insurance. Well, that's title insurance. That's not natural hazard disclosure insurance. That insurance protects them, not you. Unless they put your name on their E&O insurance and give it to you, their insurance means nothing to you. So, I mean, I'm the queen of learning disabilities, dyslexia, ADD, all kinds of stuff I had going on, which of course, you know, my whole life, I just thought I was dumb. So I like things explained to me like I'm 4 years old. So I sent property IDs, E&O certificates to my insurance agent, which I encourage you to do if you want. And I said, explain this to me like I'm 4 years old. And my insurance agent replied to me, well, this is like putting your son or your daughter on your automobile insurance. I said, thank you. I understand that. So that's
you guys
all.
are all my kids.
Thank you.
And that one more thing really quick, it's super important. I know you guys have been in a class and I brought food, so we brought food, so what you guys will eat. If you're representing the buyer, I know a lot of times you guys think if you're on the listing, then sell, you know, listing, they have the seller's choice. When you're representing the buyer, even more so important, like as she showed you, you want them to know your fiduciary duty is to show them the best report. So we don't want maybe sometimes to ruffle the feathers and say, oh, well, you know, we just want to get the offer accepted. Yes, however, it can come back and bite you in the, you know what, later on. So property ID provides the addendum, which Milana will email you, and if you want to explain, it pretty much says, if you, well, you can explain it, I'll let you speak. On the buyer side.
You're doing a great job there, Christina. Okay, so when you represent the buyer, you have a fiduciary duty to get for your buyer what you would want to receive for yourself. You have to do that. So think about that carefully. When you write your offer, you can ask for property ID in the offer. If the listing agent says, sorry, we already got Cheapo Depot because my seller wants to save $10, say, okay, that's fine. There's two ways you can play that game. And And it depends on who the agent on the other side is, if you want to play a little hardball, or if you want to go about it nicely. So what I would do probably is just to avoid a big old dispute, I would turn to my buyer. Actually, I would email my buyer, and I'll email you the words. I would say, listen, we asked for property ID in the offer. That's the report I would want to receive if I were the purchaser of this property. But they provided something else. So what I'm going to do, buyer, is I'm going to order a property ID report for you. It's $99. Don't worry, if you don't buy this house, I will cancel the property ID report. You don't have to pay for it up front. You only have to pay $99 if you buy this house, and at escrow. Escrow will collect it so that you're not out of pocket anything. That's probably what I would do. And not even involve the seller and the listing agent, because they don't care about the buyer. They just want to get the money and run sometimes, right? Not all the time, but sometimes. If the listing agent on the other side happens to be the jerk in town that no one likes, sometimes it happens, I would consider sending them this document, which I will email to you. Now, this is an addendum to the offer, and this is what you call playing hardball. It says, hey, agent on the other side, we asked for property ID and you provided this other report. Please sign your name here, assuming all liability for anything that was missing in that report that would have been in the property ID report. No, they're going to be so ashamed. No agent in their right mind would sign this document, right? Of course not, right? But, they're still going to have to present it to their client and be like, oh, we got this, darn it, I'm a jerk, So we could go on and on forever, and there's so much to talk about, but maybe next time we can talk about other lawsuits and other exciting things, or something that you bring up that you want to talk about. You let me know. It's been such a pleasure being with you.
Anybody have any questions on anything? No. Yeah. I know you guys have been training for a while again.
Sandy, you have a question?
Oh,
Yeah, I do.
okay.
Endangered species. That's just not, in the report, is that something has to be specified?
Well, the California Endangered Species Act outlines the threatened and endangered species throughout the state of California. So we talked about Easton versus Strasburger, right? Anything that materially affects the value or desirability of the property has to be disclosed. So I come to you and I say, hey, I want to buy this property on Avenida de Portugal, and you and the listing agent provided a report that did not include the fact that this property has the threatened California netcatcher protected by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And so I go around and I start, because I have severe allergies, I cut all the trees, I do spraying, and I get fined by the city, the county, the California Natural Diversity Database, and the EPA, whoever is protecting this particular species, because I did things out of pocket the way I wanted to do it, and now I'm getting a fine, and it becomes a lien against my property. And if I try to sell it, that's no fun, because then they're going to keep it. So and not only that, if I want to do something on my property, I will be heavily restricted. So as I shared with you my casita story, I ended up selling that house and buying a different house, and my mother-in-law has her casita, and we've all lived happily ever after. But it can prevent you from doing things, and if you do things that are not consistent with the continuation of this habitat and species, you could be fined. And like I said, I mean, there's in the California tiger salamander, $50,000 fine and a year in jail even, okay? So that's a bummer. I mean, I think that's, if I were a buyer, I would want to know that.
Yeah, so can we have it in the report, the endangered species?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, do you want me to show you?
So it's automatically, is what I'm trying to ask you, in the report. Is that-
Absolutely. So let me share with you. Let me
That
just.
was my quick question. And then, the environmental report, do you recommend that we should have that added to the reports as we can in the RPA?
I would never buy or sell real estate in the state of California without an environmental report, only because, you know, I have two sons on the autism spectrum. So I believe that the environmental report is very important. So yes, as you can see, this is this property here on Stafford Court in Chino Hills. And it's got the threatened California black rail, and it's got the endangered Western yellow-billed cuckoo, meaning if you need to take out a tree in order to put in your casita, this right here just might stop you.
So in the report, you've got the first page, you got your state required items, then you've got the local in the body of the report. So is this actually in the local section in the body of the report? Is it an add-on to the NHD report? Where can the agents make sure that if it's not included in the signature page for state maps, that we're making sure that, is it somewhere on the first page where the buyer is signing, that they're signing not only the disclosures necessary by state law of where the property is located on the maps, but as far as zone disclosures, and they're also signing that they received the environmental earthquake hazards booklet. But is there something also above their signature that indicates that they are signing receipt for this endangered species?
I love you. Your question was, I mean, there were several actually there, and they were fantastic. But okay, so here we go. This is the natural hazard disclosure statement, which also represents a receipt for all the disclosures. So here you go. This is the natural hazard disclosure items. And there's a whole host of other disclosures. The environmental report that you mentioned, there it is. The Mello-Roos, there it is. The local faults, fires, flood, oil and gas wells, tsunami, Williamson Act, critical habitats, all that, it's all there. Methamphetamine contamination, all these other disclosures right there. All the governmental booklets right here. Buyer signs at the very bottom. So yes, everything you mentioned is all listed above the buyer's signature. And of course, the seller signs here, the agent signs here. Of course, we assume liability. We make it very clear that, you know, you guys didn't prepare this report. We did. Let's see. Where does it say? Anyway, we're gonna go on. Always go to the web.
I'm sorry.
You can always go to the one page NHD, and you can jump around. So let's say if you want to see the whole report, you know, you just go like this. I want to see the whole report and every single page of the whole report. But and again, do not, oh, it's calling, really? Sorry. Do not presume to know the sensitivities of your clients. Personally, I do not like landslides. I don't. My husband does not like Mello-Roos. So if you're pointing out the faults to me, I'd be like, why? Why does that matter? I don't care about that. Should I? you're talking about it, maybe I should. You can jump around, you know, for example, you want to, you read about the Aliso Canyon gas well and how all the people got very sick, and there just so happens to be an oil and gas well near this property. You remember the earthquake in San Francisco or in Northridge, and you are very concerned about liquefaction because you saw how the Bay Bridge fell and how the apartment complex in Northridge killed, what was it? I don't know. So hundreds of people, right? You can go right to it. There's liquefaction. You can read all about it. This property is in a liquefaction zone. Look at this. On the state of California map, on the San Bernardino County map, and the city of Chino Hills map. And you can go read further information all about it. You can always, again, return to the summaries and click on those pages there. Or you can return to the one-page NHD so you can jump around and see all the exciting things right there. And by the way, our terms and conditions, just so you can see it, who is named as recipients covered under our $20 million of insurance. It says the seller, the seller's agent, and the seller's broker, the buyer, the buyer's agent, the buyer's broker, the transaction coordinator, the escrow officer, and the escrow company. So these are the people who are the ones that are named for having the report, for being the recipients of the report, and covered under Property ID's $20 million of insurance. And you get me all day long. Well, maybe not all day.
Just a few more things. One, I would consider that probably to be a significant difference between your report and some of the other ones, is that you have the buyer signing receipt of all that information. Oftentimes we're getting NHD reports, and right above the buyer's signature is, you're lucky if you can find the environmental and earthquake booklet receipts that they're receiving. So, you know, I think that that's significant. But I wanted to ask you about leases. We use a tenant flood hazard disclosure. Do you feel that the NHD report needs to be provided on all leases?
No.
Okay.
Not the natural hazard disclosure report to a tenant, because that's unnecessary. You know what? Let me see if
you had a tenant report, is that correct?
Yes, a tenant report. Yes. Let me see if I've got one. You know, I do have it.
Is that a different?
Yeah, it is different. And it's different because so if you can Google government code section 858-945, it provides clarification on what it is that needs to be provided to a tenant. We actually do name the owner and the tenants on our report so that they too are covered under the Property ID $20 million of insurance. This is what is included in the tenant report. And I mean, there's quite a bit of disclosure information, but also it's very important, as I'm sure you know, the wording that has to be provided. It's a very specific wording that's required by statute that has to be provided to the tenant. We give the full disclosure about it. And if you want it in, what is it? Chinese, Korean, Tagalog, Spanish, Vietnamese, actually by law, the tenant can demand it and get it. And you have to make sure you provide it to them. So that's why I'm saying we can do it for you.
Okay, and that was called the mandatory, say that again. What was the name that you called it? Mandatory.
Oh, it's called the, well, we call it the renter report. We call it the lease NHD. You know, it's on the website. You could just order it from there.
And what's the cost of it versus the regular NHD report?
29.
Okay, and how much was the HD report?
99.
99.
And on the E and O additional insured, is it possible to add the broker as well as the agent?
I'm sorry, say it again.
She's asking, go ahead. She's right here.
Well, I thought you were saying that in addition to your terms and conditions, that just includes the broker, agents, TC, anyone else in the transaction, that you can specifically add the brokerage to the E&O insurance. Does that go for the
Yes,
agent?
and well, you have hung your license at this brokerage. We put the brokerage. You're covered because that is where your license is, under the brokerage and the E&O. So, I mean, it's kind of overkill to name you as an agent. And let me tell you something, I would take this on the listing presentations. And I would say, when you choose me to list your property, I will only do the best for you. My brokerage is named under this E&O insurance for $20 million for that natural hazard disclosure report that I'm going to get for you. So
That's
totally do it.
Yes.
Good.
Good ammo.
You guys are so lovely. Thanks for letting me be with you. I hope I hear from you.
Oh, thank you so much. Give her a hand.
Thank you. Take care of yourselves.
Tony, you'll give me everyone's email so I can, we'll forward all the information she shared, the verbiage, the disclosure.
Or do you want her to just send it to me and then I can?
Yeah, you can send it to her.
Yeah, and then I can bust it out to everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you
maybe
for all
we
your
can come
great
back-
questions. I appreciate it. Yeah, I can do that. And then have my contact information. Thank you for the great questions. It makes it so much more exciting.
Milana.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of great information, so we'll definitely have her on again. So let me ask you, what's this helpful? Okay. A lot of valuable information. Perfect, well, thank you guys for spending this morning with us. Thank you for Christina, thank you for our special guest, and thank you for Christy, and thank you guys for joining us. Now, let's exit the room and enjoy some pizza.
Lots of pizza.
Yeah.